having an old PC, so therefore, please bear with me. There might be things which may take some time, but we will be able to use case that. So currently, are you able to see a black screen, right?
Yeah, we're able to see blank screen.
Okay, so what I would like to emphasize on is today we are going to talk about AI, a lot of AI. We are going to talk about autonomous agents, agents which you can now build directly in MuleSoft. And as you can build agents in MuleSoft, it will allow you to leverage the whole MuleSoft ecosystem, uh, uh, including the whole life cycle part. And that's something where I would like to evangelize on today. But before we go into the MuleSoft part, let me show you how agents are built today. So this is just a screenshot of one agent interaction built through Python. And you can see, if you look closely, that on the top, this agent interaction is with OpenAI. So you are using some libraries in Python for OpenAI to build that kind of agent, and also some kind of model information you are providing. So there's different skills you need to bring. First of all, understanding Python, being able to use Python to program that language, and also being able to understand how to communicate then with the LLM behind the scenes. And then request things to the LLM and being able to process the responses. And at some point, once you have rolled out this agent, you decide to go with another LLM provider, which is not OpenAI. So what would you do? You would, of course, write a new script or rewrite the script, change the script according to the new LLM provider and its APIs, its SDK, so you are able to leverage it. And that's, of course, a challenge. So not everyone is able to build agents today because this require technical programming knowledge. You require understanding of the LLMs and their APIs and SDKs. So whenever you build something and you want to change in future, this is something where you may have some maintenance effort involved. And same is for another LLM provider which you would maybe want to leverage. And I have started this presentation with these three scripts, which are showing you three different LLM providers being used with Python, to highlight that currently the agent development requires a lot of technical understanding, technical skills, and that's what we want to remove. And that's why we have created an initiative called MuleChain project. And that initiative is, first of all, open source, means it doesn't cost anything in order to use it. There are few people behind the project which are going to develop it, which are going to support it, which are going to evangelize it in the field. And we hope that the community, with you all, everyone in this meetup, but also the broader MuleSoft community, can onboard this so we can make something amazing together. MuleChain project is just a start where we want to leverage all the different LLM providers in a new and easy way for MuleSoft developers. And that has been the challenge, where we said, okay, currently you need to be a programmer to build agents. Now with MuleChain, it is going to change. So what is MuleChain? And before we go into the what question, what we have planned for today, there will be a couple of slides and I will be pausing myself again and again per chapter so we understand what is the purpose of MuleChain project and how you can use it. We will highlight different features and we are going to see also some demos. If you want, we are going to build even something together. But I want everyone today to, in the next 2 hours, basically understand what is a MuleChain project, how it can help you in your projects, organization, or even in a personal projects you want to build out, personal use case built on top of MuleSoft, how MuleChain AI or MuleChain project can help you there. So we will introduce MuleChain AI project to you. Are going to look at all the different AI connectors within the MuleChain project, highlight few of the nice features, and also then going through the life cycle of an autonomous agents, because now we are bringing this LLM vectoring AI capabilities into the MuleSoft platform means we are able to manage its full life cycle. So every agent you are building in the Anypoint platform, you will start from the design aspect. So what are the resources for that agent you would like to build? You prototype it, you publish it in Exchange, you build it using these connectors which we are providing, and then you deploy it in Runtime Manager. And that's the whole lifecycle which you are already using today, but now we are leveraging and allowing you to build AI embedded Mule apps directly with all the tooling which is available. And then after that, we have some live demos planned, as well as some competition, which is ongoing until I think it is 1st of September. It is open, so you can submit your use cases with MuleChain, and the top 3 use cases are going to win, I think, Amazon vouchers, which will be then handed over to the first 3 use cases. And at the end, but also throughout, please have an open discussion whenever there's a question, raise your hand or just interrupt me so I can answer the question. And Ashish, also to you, if there's anything you want to, you know, point me on or ask me, feel free to orchestrate and moderate as we go.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Easy bit.
so let's get started. The Mule Chain project. This has been an idea from, I have some colleagues which we are engaging on weekly basis. So we had the idea how we can change MuleSoft as a platform to embrace the whole AI technologies which are currently going on in the market. And then we came across a orchestration framework called LangChain, and we wanted to build, something with LangChain for MuleSoft. But when we tried it out, we saw it's Python. You need TypeScript understanding, and MuleSoft is a different beast, right? So it's a Java technology, and Python and Java, you could bring things in, but we want to really make it seamless. We want to have it fully integrated. So that wasn't something we could integrate and leverage. But then over the time, we discovered something called LangChain for J. So it's basically the same thing what LangChain is, and LangChain is a AI LLM orchestration platform which allows you to build AI agents using vector DBs and using LLMs and different models, but using Python and TypeScript. So LangChain for J is an open source library allowing you to basically do the same, but for Java developers. And that was like the opening for the MuleChain project. So we said, okay, let's look into that library. We did some POCs, as Ashish mentioned. You have to do the POCs to understand what is possible, and we saw that you could do something big with LangChain for J. And we started to build a connector. And this connector was the first initiation of the project, MuleChain project, which was very promising for us to connect to different LLMs in a super easy and simple way and leverage all the ecosystem of MuleSoft, which is already available today. So that was the kickoff. And then we built it out, it worked, and we added the features, the operations, and released it 1st of July as an open source connector. So you will get all this information, you will access the connector, we will share all this. But that's just a slight background how we came to the MuleChain project. And today, MuleChain project for us, for me, is like a new way of designing, building, and managing autonomous agent as part of a unified platform, because we are going to change the way you can use MuleSoft Anypoint Platform by leveraging these connectors, um, and allow you to build AI agents. So in the history, again, that was our very first connector. MuleChain AI is the core solution of the MuleChain project, where everything started with. It's a unification layer for LLMs to interact with, for vector databases along AI services. So there are some very nice features which we are going to demonstrate to you, which belongs to this AI services category, like autonomously selecting based on a prompt or a question an API to execute. And that API has been built with MuleSoft. It is running in a runtime manager, but you ask a question like check inventory for a product, And then the AI will realize, oh, I cannot answer this question based on the LLM knowledge. And you are providing tools to the AI which are completely described. So it will autonomously select the right tool based on the prompt, execute that query, and bring you basically the answer, the inventory from a certain ERP system, queried through a prompt as a co-pilot kind of capabilities. And that was like MuleChain AI. So that's something you are going to see in action. A very similar connector we have built is this going to be released on Monday. But I'm going to showcase this today. It's the MuleChain Einstein AI connector. And it is basically very similar to the MuleChain AI connector, but it has this nice Salesforce trust layer, which is the which is a security wall to the LLM. So every PID, personal or customer identifiable data, which is going through the Einstein AI, goes always through the trust layer. And that trust layer is able to mask the data, send it to the LLM, and through contractual agreements between Salesforce and the LLM providers, there is no retention of that data from your organization with the LLM. So no data is being stored somewhere. And when it comes back, it unmasks the data so you can see and understand what was actually the answer from the LLM based on your data which you have provided. You can do basically the same here with the available MuleChain AI connector, but you won't have the availability of the Salesforce trust layer, which is very important to secure your data through the prompts you are sending to the LLMs. Then very soon, I think round about end of August, we are going to release the AWS Bedrock connector. And AWS is very similar to MuleChain AI, but it's a complete platform. So AWS Bedrock is the orchestration platform, which includes multiple LLMs, like from Anthropic, you have AI 21 Labs, you have Mistral, you have Meta, and many, many other LLM providers through a controlled and secured framework. That would be AWS Bedrock. And through MuleSoft, we are going to allow you to do basically the same thing, building interactive autonomous AI agents for the technology of AWS Bedrock. And along this is something down the year, a web crawler we want to provide as part of the MuleChain project as well, where you can provide just a link and it will crawl through that website with subsequent links and extract the data and bring it back to you so you can ingest this data maybe into a vector database or use it for your LLM applications, whatever you want to do with that data, information which is needed for you to achieve a use case. That's where the web crawler would come in to extract that data from different links. But that's currently, we have just done a POC. We know it's possible, but we are going to build out this later this year. But it will be released by end of this year. And along those connectors, we will provide tools, examples, tutorials. So everything I will be showing to you today, you will find on that GitHub org, be available for you to download, install, and use it. It's completely, we want to make it possible for Mule developers to easily use MuleSoft to build autonomous and AI agents. So these are the three AI connectors: MuleChain AI, AWS, and Einstein. All three have their unique capabilities based on the preferences of the organization. If there's an organization who wants to go through the Salesforce trust layer, then the Einstein AI connector would be the best. If it's a AWS house, I think they will be using AWS Bedrock. So then this connector would come into play to build the agent workflow. And if it's kind of a open company, open org, which want to manage their own LLMs, then MuleChain AI would be the right tool. And the security aspect you would cover basically through the API management part to mask the data and unmask it whenever using the MuleChain AI connector. So that's also just quick information. it's very similar slide, but the information here is with the MuleChain AI connectors, we are having access to a large number of LLMs. Through the platform, we are supporting. AWS has its own LLM support. Einstein has its own LLM support plus the trust layer. And with the MuleChain AI, we are going to support 5 LLMs, which in total is a large number and variety of LLM you can use to build your autonomous agent workflows. Once again, just quick repeat. Today, we are going to focus on the MuleChain AI connector, a unification layer to communicate with LLMs and vector stores. This is the number of LLMs we are supporting. OpenAI, of course, that's a no-brainer. Mistral AI, but we want to also support Azure OpenAI. So it's already supported with the release, Olama and Anthropic. So these are the 5 LLM providers we are supporting with the MuleChain AI connector. And we are not going to add more. First of all, we want to get the feedback from the community. We will focus on the quality and add more capabilities. And later on, we are going to add multiple other models and LLM providers if needed. But that's currently what we have introduced. And through the MuleChain AI connector, now you can bring AI capabilities into any application because MuleSoft has this super strong ecosystem of having multiple connectors already available today for Jira, for instance. So you can create a bug agent. Whenever a new bug is created, you provide to the user who is managing the bug, first of all, sentiments. This can be easily created through the MuleChain AI connector and also provide a quick AI summary on that specific bug. So if there's a lot of data in the comments, in the description, so the bug agent or the bug user who sees and who want to fix that bug, he has a crisp AI summary for that bug to solve the issue faster. So those kind of improvements you can provide, which will just help being more efficient and productive for the developers or service agents who are working with those entities. And that's super simple because MuleSoft ecosystem is used. We can combine and connect any connectors within Anypoint Studio and the platform. Also, this is, I think, known. We have added this information here. So if you want to join the group, LinkedIn is there. We have the YouTube channel where we are leveraging multiple additional tutorials and videos. So check out all the videos there. Few comments before we go really content. MuleChain project is an open source project. It's cool because now we can control the pace of innovation. We can release, you saw it, 1st of July, we released MuleChain AI connector. Next week, we are going to release the MuleChain Einstein AI connector. End of August, we are going to release the AWS Bedrock connector. So we have a pace of innovation, which is very nice. But on the other hand, when you use these connectors, there is no official support from Salesforce and MuleSoft because these are not Salesforce built connector. These are from some individuals. One is Amir Khan, the other one is Michael Bosniak, and other people who have been building these connectors, and they are going to support you through the GitHub repository and org. So when there's an issue, go to the repository, create an issue there, and we are going to look at it. However, this is important to note. This is not an official product, so there will be no official product support from Salesforce and or MuleSoft. And of course, we rely on the community. So if after this meetup you go back, you use this connector, you will be one of our evangelizers, one of our ambassadors who will be part of the community to support others to get onboarded with this connector as well. And the second remark is it's a beta release, right? So MuleChain AI is a beta release. We have not been tested this on a production environment. We deployed many agents before releasing it. All was stable because we are using the MuleSoft technology, but we have not done a fully fledged load testing here. So it's not production ready considered from us. You can use it, you can deploy it in production. It will most probably work, but this is just for us from the open source perspective. We want to receive the feedback and maybe potentially if there is any issue with the performance or anything, we can easily fix it. but that's the only statement we have here. The connector is not production ready. It's fully functional. You can use it. You will see it, how powerful it is. Keep in mind, it's not production ready. Also, the IDE, we tested it, Anypoint Studio. I tested it also in ACB. It's also working there, but the logo of the connector is missing, but the rest is fine. So you can use also ACB if you're happy to not display the logo of the connector. We used majorly Anypoint Studio. Also, in terms of testing, we did large testing on Mistral AIs and OpenAI. Um, for Azure, OpenAI, Anthropic, and so on, we did the trial testing. That was totally fine. We deployed on Cloud Hub 1, 2, and on-premise standalone runtimes. Cloud Hub 2 was the most powerful one, the fastest responses, and so on, and most stable one. um, On-premise was also good. Cloud Hub 1, sometimes, we reached a number of the size of the application, so we couldn't deploy there. But if it's below 100 megabyte, we were able to deploy it here as well. But everything which we go beyond 100 megabyte, we used Cloud Hub 2.0. Also, one important information, Java 8 for now will be, so the connector is using Java 8 as runtime, and we suggest you to use it as well, because it won't work with Java 17 as of today. But the latest releases, so if you go to the repository in the develop branch, you will see that we are supporting in the develop branch already Java 11 and 17 along 8. But the official release we did, which is the 0.1.0, is supporting Java 8 runtime only. And we rely really on the success of this project, on the community, on your feedback. If you want to build demos, if you want to build use cases, help us going beyond the beyond the ambassador. Let us know. We can onboard you also in the team. If you are willing to contribute and help us writing the code, join our team. It's open source team which will be building this out. And here I want to stop for a second before we can continue to the connector and its capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, so there are two questions. Okay, so one is, yeah, you kind of answered already, which is, do we have license for the production?
So it's an open source project, means
Yeah,
it's free to download, free to use, free to deploy. As I mentioned, it's not considered production ready. Um, Even those agents are stable. Use it, provide us feedback, and then we can remove this tag. But currently we see it as a beta, which is not production ready.
yeah. So Amit, I think you got the answer. There was a why around it. Okay, so why it is not production ready. So you already answered. So
Yeah.
hope you got that answer, Amit. So we are in beta phase. That's the reason
Yes.
it's not. You can deploy it in production. As Amit mentioned, and let us know your feedback.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all, Amit.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Ashish. So now let's come to the MuleChain AI connector itself. So what are the connectors? We talked about it. So these three are the connectors. What is the key benefit you have? Currently, when you use LLMs in your Mule apps, how would you do it? You go through the LLM API. So you use the you use the OpenAI API, you use the Mistral API, you use the Anthropic API, you use the Azure OpenAI API to connect with these systems. Now with these connectors, you don't go through the API anymore. We are doing it. So it's an easy interaction with multiple LLMs. You can switch at any time whenever you feel like you want to switch from OpenAI to Mistral. It's just a matter of clicks, and the whole workflow is switched. You don't need to rewrite basically everything. And that's one of the benefits. The next one is it's optimized for MuleSoft. So you can benefit from all these pre-built connectors we have, all the templates, accelerators we have as part of the MuleSoft Anypoint platform. That's what you can use along the MuleChain AI connectors. And then some nice stuff, which is, AI services. So this AI services is providing different capabilities like doing RAG, chatting with your document. So if you have a PDF file which is super long and you would like to ask few questions but don't want to search for the PDF document, you can use this PDF document, give it to the connector, use the RAG operation, and chat with your document. Ask him question, it will reply to you. And that's a super easy way to be more productive. One of my colleagues built an AI lawyer today who imported the full, all the laws from Germany. It's kind of 500 pages into embedding in memory in MuleSoft, and then he was able to chat with this document and get question answered. So he accidentally downloaded a video from an illegal site. What are the consequences? So this was super easy to retrieve this information and process it and formulate the answer out of the knowledge store through that 500 pages PDF. So you can do really something super nice with this connector to engage with documents or even tools. This is a super powerful capabilities where you can say, I have a AI agent which is using OpenAI as its LLM, but sometimes this AI agent is not able to answer some organization specific questions, like you are using SAP for inventory management and you have your salespeople who sometimes ask the question, what is the inventory for a product, for a material? Did they have to go to SAP, get that information? So here you can easily ask the agent, what is the inventory for product ABC? And it will use that tools autonomously and reply to you by calling that API and processing that payload and response and responded with basically the answer to your question. So we are going to look at it actually and how it is working and some chains you can build with MuleSoft here now with MuleChain connector, chain processors, but that's a typical MuleSoft capabilities, which is now also leveraged in this whole AI play. So I already talked about it, all different models we are supporting. So I'm going to be short here. Also, this is something which I talked about it, but let me quickly go through it. Connection to LLMs is super easy. You can load documents, so chat with your documents in a super dynamic manner. You can create prompt templates. So prompt templates is something super interesting where you can build, for instance, agent for customer service, where you define the prompt, define the instructions, but change the data set. So whenever a specific incident comes in, you want to summarize that incident from a customer service point of view in 2 sentences. So that could be a prompt template. You put in guidance that the AI should behave, should be ethical, should not be aggressive, and those kind of things you can also add into the prompt template. And then you have a simple AI agent which is just qualifying incidents. Another feature is persistent memory. So when you talk now to an LLM through an API and say, hi, my name is Amir, so he will say, hi, Amir, how can I help you? And then you ask, what is my name? He will say, I don't have access to your personal data. I don't know your name. So here we are enabling memories based on the history of the messages for specific user channels. So it could be Ashish who is talking to OpenAI. And he says, my name is Amir, and my name is Ashish. And next time when he comes back and asks the question, what is my name? It will reply, your name is Ashish. And if I would be chatting with the OpenAI agent built from MuleSoft, it will have a different channel. So if I will tell my name to this OpenAI agent, it will remember my channel and my name. So our data is also separated. That's also a nice feature which enables you to build intelligent agents, understanding the history of the messages. We have the support for images, so you can also ingest images, ask what do you see. So those kind of things can be easily done. We have your dynamic tools, hand over MuleSoft APIs with clear description to the agent, and it will be using your APIs. All the composability you have been building in the last few years and decades, now you can take that composability and hand it over to your AI agent, and it will make use of it based on the prompt which is coming in. Input classification. So what is positive, negative. So those kind of things you can do. Connectivity to system of records. That's not something what MuleChain does, but what MuleSoft does. So here is MuleChain is just contributing to it. Scoring and ranking we can have, as well as complex chains. So these two are not yet brought in, but very soon we are going to introduce these capabilities as well. This is the big benefit. Look, this is when you build agents without MuleSoft. And now with the connectors, not only one, but multiple connectors, you can build AI agents in a more low code, no code approach. So everyone can do it. Every Mule developer can do it who understands a little bit of Anypoint Studio. They can build now AI agents. You don't have to be a Python expert. You don't have to be a TypeScript expert. You can do everything now with MuleSoft directly. What else? I think we talked about it as well in the previous slide, so we skip it. This is also the same basically, but for the Einstein AI connector. And now let's come to the very first demo. And that demo is about, let me show you basically the org.
Yeah. Few more things around. Okay, so is this connector built using Java 17?
This connector is built using Java 8 because the Mule SDK, which is provided for the connectors, is only supporting Java 8. But it is, once the connector is deployed and you are downloading and installing it, after the installation you can use it for Java 11 and 17 as well, but you have to compile with Java 8. That's a prerequisite given to the um, yeah, capabilities of the SDK from MuleSoft.
Okay, thanks for that answer. Amit, you have mic. If you want to ask that question or clarify, or let me read it first. Is the question asked from document based on Amazon Intelligent Document Processing or based on something different already? Is this a question or you are trying to answer some other queries? I don't see it. Amit, you have a mic. If you want to, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi there. Like
Hey,
as Amir mentioned that rather than searching from document, you can ask question from document, right? So it is based on Amazon Intelligent Document Processing, or it's totally
no,
different.
no, it's a vector database. You know, vector databases are where you can put in text, and this text is converted into numeric representation to identify it quickly through semantic search. So we are using vector databases in memory, which can run in a Mule runtime. So your vector knowledge store will be a Mule runtime, which you can use to ask the question. Does it make sense or?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So, Ansari, we have one more question. How does the pricing works if I use the MuleChain connector and eventually call the LLM APIs, which is charged on tokens?
Yes. So basically, you have to provide the API key for your LLM provider currently, and that's also why we consider it as beta. Is there is you cannot limit the token. So we say you go in with a base number of tokens, and there is of course a limit in the code of the connector, but it's not exposed to the surface, so you cannot limit it from outside. You have to bring the API key from the LLM provider which is supported, and then you are able to use it. The way the tokens are used, you have to check then on the LLM provider side. So if you are using OpenAI, for instance, and you are executing few requests, so currently, it doesn't cost much, but still there are tokens which are being processed, and this information you will see then on Mistral on OpenAI platform.
Yeah. So, few more questions, a couple of questions. So,
Yeah.
Ashish, he's a colleague from my team only. Okay. Can we input any files, docs, or PDFs as an input to LLM using MuleChain AI connector?
Oh, that's a very good question. Normally, so the vision is yes, but today it's PDF text files of any format. Sorry, system generated PDF is important. So if you have a scanned PDF, that would not work. So system generated PDF, you have text files, and URLs. So currently we have this capability on the RAG where you can provide a link to a knowledge article or Wikipedia kind of page, and then you can chat with the page as well. So these are the three types: text files, URLs, and system generated PDFs, which are supported today.
Thank you so much. Last question: is there a monitoring tool planned to accompany this tool for usage monitoring of tokens?
Yeah, so it's pretty much referred to the question which was already asked. So currently we don't have this token monitoring yet. It's on our roadmap, but we considered it's an important task, important thing, but we want to get the feedback on the functionality first. So we say, okay, the quality of the things we have released is nice, and now we can tweak on the token. So we expose the token outside, and even if you have seen, now it wasn't there, but we are planning, but that's also down the year, to build a NLP tokenizer. So before a prompt comes in, before you send it to the LLM, we want to give you already an impression what are the number of tokens you are using with the input and potentially the output of the LLM. Yeah. So that's currently, yeah, on our roadmap, not being developed yet.
Okay, yeah, that was the last question. Amit, yeah.
Okay, so I think I have also a couple of other slides, but I feel like we should see it. Yeah? So based on the question, so that's the MuleChain GitHub org, which you can see here. We have some of the connectors. You can see this is the MuleChain AI connector. So if I would click on it, you are directed to this repository, and you can see this is the first connector, which has been released 2 weeks ago. This is the release here. I ask everyone who want to use it, please make use of this. If you have this concern on Java 8 versus Java 17, go here, go to the develop branch, and there you will have the Java 8 support plus the Java 11 and Java 17 support. You can see we are already 93 commits ahead on this branch compared to the master branch. But if you want to follow all the tutorials, everything we have built on YouTube, go with this release because this is the most stable and reliant release when it comes to documentation and so on. So that's the repository and the org we have. There is something else which is our landing page, and this landing page is super important, which gives you also an understanding on the vision and so on. But you can directly from here, this is what we have been presented to you. um, Here you have the documentation, right? So you have the connector overview, what it supports. We have been talking about it, but also how to get started. So there is a playlist on YouTube. You can follow step by step what I'm doing and follow these instructions, and you will end up in a good result of building that agent. Take care about these comments, right? So Java 8, this is important. So if you follow the steps step by step, you will have the good results. And same like for the operations. So you see all the different operations, RAG, what we support, agents, chat, embeddings, image generation. So there are different things we have added, and these are already super powerful to use, right? So this is the landing page. I think this is important. And the last thing, which is also important in terms of getting the full picture, is the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is here. This is the MuleChain channel where you can have the same thing. Like here you have the getting started with the MuleChain AI connector. Same you have for Einstein, but we have also kind of, a lot of demos, how you can do it with URL, how you work with building a knowledge store, Jira bug agent. We have autonomous agents which we build, a lawyer which I was talking about. So check this out. This is super interesting. Yeah, how you can ingest your regional laws document and ask questions. It will help you. This is very nice for insurance companies or banks where they have their terms and conditions. So they can provide these kind of agents to their end user, to their customers, to ask question and get answered instead of having a customer on call or a customer opening a ticket to get those simple questions answered. So now we have the capabilities to do it. So there are different examples. Check them out. Um, I want to start with the very first example, which is the incident agent. And the incident agent is in ServiceNow. And this agent has one task. So it's always alive. Yeah. So whenever there's a new incident created, it checks this incident and summarize it for the service agent. So I'm a service agent, a customer calls in or a customer opens a ticket. Yeah. So you can see I can provide here a short description. I will be providing, I documented everything. So it's about a high CPU usage in main Chrome process. After some usage, it gets high consumption and my whole PC is super slow. And after that, I'm providing here some explanation, description about the use case when it is being slow and so on. Also, restarting is not working all the time. And once I have described it, I can submit it here. And you see that on that specific incident, there is something called a AI summary. And this AI summary just got popped in. And this is an AI summary which gives the service agent who receives this incident a good understanding. So first of all, we can see the summary says customer is experiencing high CPU usage in the Chrome process, and next steps, please execute these two steps in order to get to the next resolution, or try to solve this issue faster. Advise customers to check any conflicting extensions and so on, but also suggest incognito mode to see what is the problem there. It's more in a discovery phase. And now somebody who has seen this incident, they can say, I want to comment on it because I had a similar issue. So they say it looks like it's related to Visual Studio Code because it's running in the Chrome browser and I had a very similar experience. I can post it here. So I post that comment and you will see in real time this gets updated, right? So now the AI summary, and that's important for the agent because when informations are flowing in into the incident, we have this field where the AI is acting and supporting the agent to solve this incident. It says now, okay, it looks like the Visual Studio Code might be the impact. So use it as a desktop version. Next step, try running Visual Studio Code as a desktop version and see if the performance improved. Yeah, so that's something, a super nice agent which you can not only have in ServiceNow. In the same manner, you can have it in Jira, you can have it in HubSpot, you can have it anywhere where MuleSoft is able to connect to. And this content from this specific resolution and advice, this is coming from the MuleChain AI connector. And let me actually show you this. Before I go into the Anypoint Studio to show you this flow, any questions?
Yes, we have a couple of questions. Okay. So how will you ensure transparency and give customer control over their data privacy when integrating with third-party LLM service into your application?
That's a very good question. So with MuleChain AI connector, you can see that we don't have this protection. But as you are using MuleSoft as the overall platform, we are going to release very soon some AI specific policies which are able to control the prompting part, filter out the sensitive data of out of a prompt, mask it, and then send it to the LLM and retrieve it back. So that's a parallel stream which one of my other colleagues are working on to release some policies to overcome these challenges, which you would solve if you go with the Einstein AI connector because it goes through the Salesforce trust layer. But in this case, we are using the MuleChain AI connector and it doesn't have the trust layer. So you have to build it with the MuleSoft API management policies, which we are working on. Yes.
Madhu, if you're okay, I mean, let us know. Otherwise, you have mic. You can unmute yourself and you can ask more information around that same question. Okay. Okay. So great work, Amir. Have started trying it, and a few more examples of tools with query params and URI params would be very helpful. Okay. So yeah. So do you want to add something, Amir, on that?
I think this goes into the direction of using this AI service called tools. Yes, so that's on our agenda. I think query URL parameters and also query parameters. I think like Michael Bosniak, one of my other colleagues who has started this project together with me, he tested it out and URL as well as query parameters are working through the tool service, at least in the develop branch, which we updated recently. So you should check it out. I think this should work. Not only the payload, get, and post is working, but also the query params and URL params are also working.
Yeah, Raj. Yeah,
So Amir, sorry,
yeah.
it definitely works, but you have to append few things in the instruction to the AI, saying that append a query URL param to the request. Those kind of some fine tuning needs to be done. I have tried one or two examples and started working, but more examples would definitely help the community.
Okay, so, okay, of course, yeah. So that's something where Michael is working on to bring these examples and also articulate. And that was also one of the questions. It's all about prompting, how you instruct the agent to use certain configurations. And yeah, absolutely right. You need to add additional information and instruction. I will give this back to the team, and we are coming up with more examples in this area.
Yeah, that was the last question. Amir, go ahead.
Okay, so now let me show you I think two things what we can do now with this agent. So this is basically a simple mule flow, right? I'm calling it an agent because this whole flow is doing this for me. Yeah, right. So it is the agent for the AI summary. So I call it, this is a AI agent workflow for incidents, which is using basically this prompting service to update a AI summary in ServiceNow by collecting all these different informations. And now if I would go into the configuration of this service, so when we go here, you see that currently this agent is on OpenAI, right? And here you have the full instruction. So I'm in the template for this specific prompt service. I have here instruction. You are a support agent who is tasked to provide a short summary on the incident and yeah, uh, be polite and so on. So those kind of things I'm adding here in the template, and then I'm providing additional instruction to the agent to be precise, to make sure that you use clear wording, summarize everything in 1 second, one sentence, provide with two next steps at least, and then this instruction is being followed. And then I'm providing the payload, which is including the title, the priority, the close date, the comments, the description of this incident. Later on, you can also add attachments because you have the connector capabilities into it. So you can add all this data to provide a support for the customer service or incident agent who is working in service now to solve this issue by using these kind of templates we have used here, and change the payload basically, which is then provided to the agent as part of this workflow. So now one thing would be, currently it's running on OpenAI and we have seen it is working. So I can stop it. And let's say my organization says now, I would like to move it to Mistral AI. Um, it's super simple for me. I can simply go here and say, I switch the whole configuration to Mistral AI, save it, and that's it, right? I can run it again and it will work. I'm not sure if I have the right key deployed here. Um, how can I do it? Let me check. No, I think I cannot open because this call is being recorded. Um, so this is how it will work. I did the recording, so you can check it out. I can run it now, but it can run into errors if the key is not. But let's do it. I mean, it won't be so. We will see if there is an error or the key is expired. Um, so it will now restart the agent. This agent is running on my machine for ServiceNow. I could even deploy it in Cloud Hub. Then you will see very nicely the whole agent visualization, that it is connecting to ServiceNow, feeding into ServiceNow. It is using MuleChain to connect to OpenAI. So all those things you would see there as well, because the agent is deployed in MuleSoft. So all these beneficial values you get from MuleSoft, you can have now for all these agent workflows. Surprisingly, my machine is fast right now, which is very good. So very soon the agent should be deployed, and it is switched from OpenAI to Mistral. And if you would do such a switch in Python or TypeScript, it will take some time for you, right? So to rewrite the code, to reroute the payload, and all these surfacing with the interface of the LLM is implemented in the connector itself. So let's go again here. That's the wrong one. I will delete. And you can also look at the language if everything works and the API key is not expired. Let me go here, copy the title, short description, and we do here. The summary is here, so the description, and then I can submit. And we will see quickly. So if it's get updated in the next 5 seconds, everything is fine. If not, the AI key is not working. And I think that's the case, yeah. So it looks like you can see here invalid. Oh, okay, it's an invalid model. So actually it would work. That's also something we want to improve later on. So you have switched the LLM provider, but you can see I'm using here the OpenAI model. So I have to switch here as well. So let's say Mistral large language model. Now save it. I stopped the app. I could have done it already in the running mode. But anyway, you have to consider these different things, and we are going to look at the connector in detail in a minute. So once this is deployed, hopefully, and let me delete it again, everything should be settled. And let's copy and prepare already. The description is here and the title is here. So MuleSoft is starting up. Any questions so far?
No, I mean, we are good.
Okay, cool. Now the worst case could be that the API key is expired, but let's see. I think it isn't because it was able to connect already, and it.
We have one. Yeah, we got one question. Okay. Again, it's unsigned. Does the service now cause the Mule API that implements in MuleChain logic?
No, we have this trigger, which is monitoring whenever there is a new or updated incident. So the Mule app, and that's why I call it an agent workflow. It is called when there is an update in ServiceNow incident. It processes the whole thing, collects the data, and send it to the MuleChain agent. And the MuleChain agent then writes the AI summary. We transform it and update the incident on that specific field. So that's basically happening and not the other way around. So ServiceNow is not calling in this scenario, but you could potentially implement the agent which is called through ServiceNow. So here you see it is now using Mistral. So, I've been working with the switch a lot, so I can see and spot the difference between how OpenAI GPT 3.5 articulated and how Mistral large language latest model is articulating. And if I update it here with the comment, it will basically do the same. It will edit, and now it will update basically the whole thing. And you can see also the way it is formatting, it's a little bit different than OpenAI was doing, but these models and the instructions are grounded through that specific processor we are using here, through the operation of the prompt template. This grounding is happening in the template and instruction fields for that agent. So now this was just one of those things. When you look here, this is the full MuleChain AI connector, where we just use this agent defined template. There are more things we can use, like answer prompt or answer prompt with memory. These are different things. Like answer prompt is simple, like you are chatting with OpenAI via API. It will not remember your conversation. But answer prompt with memory is something which is able to remember the last 10, last 100, last 1,000 conversation with you. So this is something we have implemented. We have embeddings, which you can use to build a knowledge store. It's also very, very nice. And actually, let me show you this one. Let me stop this app and let's go into this embedding. because image generation and so on, this is nice. You can read images, you can generate images, but it's not like something where you say, wow, you have seen it already, many other constellations. We have rag document, is very similar to this embedding, but here you have to, when you say rag load document, you have to provide always a file which you want to chat with. And here you can just ingest a file through a defined workflow and then ask questions. We have sentiment analyzer and the tool service. So let's first go into the knowledge store and see what we can do there, building a knowledge store. And the second one would be then where we are going to explore the tool services. Yeah, one more thing before we go to the knowledge store. Look, this is the other advantage, right? So we have seen MuleChain AI connector. And here we are using the Einstein AI connector, which is now placed in that specific area. And this Einstein AI connector is using the Salesforce trust layer. So now you are bringing Einstein into ServiceNow. It's the same workflow. And if I would start it, you will see that Einstein will write something in ServiceNow. And if I open that one, you can see it's very similar. You have template, you have instruction and data set, and you have the model names. The model names, how they are appearing in the Einstein API. We have used exactly their naming convention. So once it is loaded, we are going to see it here. These are all the models supported through the Einstein 1 platform. You can add probability and the language as well. But it's a very similar approach like what we have seen with MuleChain AI connector, but it is using the Salesforce trust layer to go through that security aspect and make sure that the data you are sending to the LLM is not stolen, it is zero retention, it is secured, and so on. So this is the benefit using the Einstein connector compared to the MuleChain AI connector. You could simply do the same with MuleChain AI connector, but with the policies on the MuleSoft side, which are going to secure your PIDs and CIDs towards the LLMs. So that was the second option. I think I don't have to start this one. It's very similar to the other one. But let me show you the knowledge store. And that's an interesting one. So that's actually a knowledge store we have built. And this knowledge store was actually reused by my colleague who built his own lawyer with the German laws and so on. And this knowledge store has different flows. So the very first flow is this one, knowledge new store. Here you are creating an empty new store which has no knowledge, right? And then you are using SFTP to drop your PDF files, and this PDF files gets processed and ingested into a in-memory Mule runtime vector database, which is then converting the PDF file into numeric vector representation into that vector store. And once this is done, we can query questions. So we ask question against that specific vector database where the same operation is used, but this time we are getting the info from store. So it could be very interesting, for instance, for the law or terms and condition kind of questioning, but also for product cataloging. This is something you can easily provide to your customers to build upon a product catalog where somebody can ask question based on defined product names and capabilities and features. And let me start this one. So I think that's a very nice one to explore with you here. And what we are going to do is, let me find it actually. We have here, for instance, where is it? I think it should be here. That's a made up product from me. It's called Mule TXY Pro. It's a earpod product which has different features and capabilities. It has noise cancellation, it has AI powered smart assistant, it has different other capabilities which are provided, and it summarizes why this product is best for the user. Some categories and some characteristics are provided, and I will be ingesting this document into the knowledge store and see how the knowledge store is built by referring to this document and allowing me to chat with the knowledge from this document using the knowledge store. So what we are going to do, and I will also open FileZilla now, because this is the tool which I will be using for ingesting my data. Okay, so let's see if it's up. Yeah, so here it is. No, I don't want to have a new version. We can quickly connect here. Yes, this is fine. So you will see there is already a structure planned, and let me explain you that structure. So you can see I have an upload folder that's typically for SFTP. And we have here one structure, which is embedding. In embedding, you will see there is a knowledge store. This is being built, and I will overwrite this. So this is a knowledge store with the laws from Germany and so on. You can see already the size of it. Then I have two other folders where I can drop files in new. And once these files are processed, they are moved to the processed folder. So you can see here all the different files we already processed here. So let me just get rid of it. So yes, I want to delete it. And now everything is empty. And this knowledge store is already having some information. So let me also delete this knowledge store by going to Postman. And we go here to working with embeddings. And you can see I have just three, or I have even here two different. I have here a knowledge store which I can create. So let me do it. So it's an empty knowledge store. It will overwrite everything we had already. So let me go back to FileZilla, refresh. Look, this was the size, and now it is totally reduced. So it's kind of not there. So everything has been deleted. Knowledge is empty. And now I can ask a question through OpenAI. So here, this is the OpenAI configuration. So let me show you here. This is one resource which is called prompt L, and the other one, which is Mistral, is called prompt. So I have in my application, if you look here, two different resources. One configuration is using OpenAI, the other one is using Mistral, just to demonstrate that you can even combine with a multi approach using the same knowledge store. So let me now get rid of it. This was our internal project we used here. So this is the first question. And let me open this one. So now my knowledge store is created and it's empty. So I can ask, what is Mule TXY Pro? So that's my question which I want to ask here. And same question I would like to ask later on to the Mistral one. As my knowledge store is empty, it should tell me either it invents something like hallucination, or it will try to guess. So currently it's saying not sure, because I'm sorry. That's a thing we added as part of our internal project. Sorry for that. Let me quickly correct this one. So, it was for answering some internal things. We played around with it. So here is the not sure part. And I will just add here. This is fine. And the same I will do here for the other one. Sorry for this, guys. So let's go here and delete everything. So not sure is gone. Done. Save it. Let me stop and restart. I think it's faster. Then, okay. Okay, meanwhile, while this is starting up, any questions?
No, we are good. I mean,
Okay. Okay, build is success. And now we are launching the knowledge store. And let me check here as well. I think nothing happened here. So knowledge store is still empty. That's totally fine. Where's Mule? Is here. I think now it's also, on my system, it's heating up already. So also while it's starting up, so in this flow, as you can see, I used different processors here. So we have different operations for building a knowledge store. And I used basically all of them, like new store, where I created this new empty store. And every time you use this, it will overwrite something, a knowledge store which has been created. And this is a in file, in memory vector database, which is going to be created. And once you have created it, you can add document to store. So you refer to files. These files are taken, broken down into vector, and ingested into that knowledge store you created. And this knowledge store is again exported as a file. And once you have done this, you can go and ask here question from the store to retrieve an answer. We have two different ones. So one is without legacy, the other one is with legacy. So in the LangChain libraries, we had two different approaches to do it. They have modernized it, but I feel like currently it's good to put them both exposed. You will find the same approach here. So users can decide which works best for them. It depends on the models you are using. It depends on the LLM providers you are using. I feel like the legacy one worked very well with OpenAI, while as Mistral is more strong with the new approach. But both are provided and are very similar. But now let's ask a question again. So what is Mule TXY? So it should now go into that empty embedding store. And this product is not there, so it shouldn't make assumptions or try to guess. It will come up with an answer, but let's see what is the answer. And this is OpenAI. It can take some time. So now you can see, as per my last update, there is no product or concept known as TXY because it doesn't know what it is. I could basically ask the same question with Mistral, but for now I will leave it. And now what we are going to do, we are going to take this file and ingest it into the knowledge store. So that the file is somewhere, it's not here, it's in the documentation, download. So the file should be here, MuleTXY. I take it and I drop it in the new folder. And now you can see how different connectors are playing together here. We have the SFTP connector, which realized there was a new file. It takes that file and breaks it down into smaller chunks, transform it for the embedding to be ingested in the knowledge store. And once this is done, it export the file again and move it to the processed folder, which is basically here. So if I go into the processed folder and I see the file is there, it means it is processed. And if you go back to the embedding itself, you will see also the size should be larger. So now we have knowledge in the embedding. And I ask the same question, right? So I will ask, what is Mule TXY Pro? And now it will use the knowledge it is in the vector DB to answer the question. Okay, currently it didn't got it. So that's the legacy method. So let me use it here using the Mistral one. So it should at least answer. Maybe I was a little bit too fast. Sorry for the confusion. Why it's not there? Did I change anything? So I provided it to the knowledge store. The knowledge store is there, is updated. Okay, maybe that's the demo devil. Let me see, maybe we use this flow with another colleague as well, but we didn't actually change anything. Don't make assumption. Okay, so I think it's good here. So don't make assumptions. That should be enough because it's grounded too much and it's being super honest and it doesn't need to be. This is also fine. So let me save it again and retry. That's weird. Actually, it should tell me what it is. What is Mule TXY? It should say it's a earpod kind of system, which it is being positioned as a product. So now, okay, so maybe it took just some time to answer the question or to get the knowledge. Now you can see it is answering exactly what I was expecting. So it is providing me a good overview about what it is, what are some of the features. And now I can continue to ask additional questions like, does it support noise cancellation? And that's a specific question, right? So we have a lot of different answers here, but I can now ask the same question. Okay, now I think the app is restarting. That was the thing, because I saved it. Let it restart, and then we will ask the same question. And you will see now we have the full document which is being ingested. So I'm either able to get a fully blown answer, like what is a Mule TXY Pro, or a dedicated answer or set on certain features which I would like to get answered. And that's also possible, where you can just articulate the answer and then send it basically to the LLM using the embedding. And it should answer here basically, yes, it is supporting noise cancellation. What is now? That's new. I am. Let me check. So what happened? Okay. Yeah, that's also something which we don't support. Actually, when you do changes, you have to stop in the runtime and then rerun it, especially when you are working with embeddings. That's something we need to handle correctly, because those classes are loaded in the memory. And when you do changes, because those classes are already loaded, we cannot update those. And that's what it's saying here. It's already loaded, so you cannot use it in a out of context here. So whenever you do changes, you cannot use, with working with embeddings, the feature of saving the things, because it won't redeploy correctly. You have to stop it and then redeploy it. Then it will load everything correctly. And that's a use case, I think, for developer. It's a little bit, yeah, not so good. But once it's deployed in Cloud Hub or on premise, it shouldn't be an issue, because you deploy your application and you don't change in a production kind of way. But let's let it deploy. Okay, so now it's deployed. Let's ask again. Sorry for the hiccups. And now it should tell me, yes, it supports noise cancellation. So you can see, yes, it supports noise cancellation, and it's able to bring things to context. You can communicate with it in a natural language processing. And now, instead of getting the full document, it gets this vector representation, converts it into the right answers, and reply it to me. And that's one of the things which you can now build using a Mule runtime, because the knowledge store itself, even it is a file, it is being loaded. When you ask a question, it is being loaded in the Mule runtime in memory. You ask the question, it gets the right answer from this small or big knowledge store and reply it back to you. And then every time you ask a question, it will load this in memory embedding to answer your question. And that's something which you can now do directly in MuleSoft, and use Mule for runtime as a vector database. And I would stop here before we go to the last demo, because I think there might be some questions.
We are good. I mean,
Okay. So
yeah,
what you could, yeah.
yeah, we have. Okay. Thanks, Amir. On question, are the embedding interacts with public LLM? Just trying to think. This can be used for public documents only, or can be used for internal documents too.
So you can use this one for internal as well, but there is no, as I mentioned, this is MuleChain AI connector, so there is no masking of the data. Here you would need these policies, which I was talking about. You have to build these policies in our API gateway, which would act then as an AI gateway. So whenever data is sent to a LLM, it will filter out based on the policy defined, what are the field it should be masking, and then this data is sent to the LLM and being retrieved with the answer. If you are good with it, you can use it. Otherwise, make use of these API policies we are going to release soon for LLMs and prompting, which will help you to secure your data. Otherwise, go public only. The other option would be to use a RAG, which is then through Einstein. And Einstein has this Salesforce trust layer. So you would probably doing the document chatting with Einstein instead of Mule AI connector. Here, the advantage is clear. So you can do RAG as well. And RAG is like receiving a document, answering one or multiple questions, and destroying the in-memory again. Here, with the embeddings, you are really building a knowledge store, which is able to build kind of vector representation of all your knowledge and use it whenever you are engaging with an LLM. The other option could be that instead of using these public LLM providers, you use Olama, kind of LLM, which is on premise, which you can control, which you can secure, and which is not going to take your data and misuse it. This is the other option which MuleChain also supports. So Olama is supported for you, or you go with Azure OpenAI, which is also kind of in a private cloud environment, set it up for you. Does it answer your question?
Yeah. Thanks,
Okay.
Amit. Yeah.
Okay, so the next demo will be around these things. So you see we have here tools AI service. So now you have been using MuleSoft in the last couple of decades, years. You have built a lot of composable APIs, and maybe in exchange you describe those APIs as well. So we have this tools feature, and this tools feature is super interesting because it use, let me go here, it allows you to hand over a set of tools to the agent you are building. And this set of tools is including APIs with clear documentation, how to use these APIs with URL, with header information, with payload, example payloads. And then whenever you ask a question to the LLM, and this question goes beyond the general knowledge of the LLM, it will autonomously use these tools to answer your question. Let me give you an example. We see here, this is a MuleChain agent, or later on I will just showcase the Einstein one. But this is a MuleChain AI agent. The UI is, it doesn't matter. Yeah? So this agent is deployed in Cloud Hub. Let me show you also the back end of it, so you can see what we have. So actually, this is the agent which is MuleChain AI agent. You can see it's deployed here in Cloud Hub. So you are running the agent and its workflow directly in the Mule runtime. And now I can communicate with the agent. So I can ask, for instance, what is the capital of France? It will tell me it is Paris and give me maybe some outline what I can do in Paris. Yeah, so you can see here. Okay, that's good. I can also ask something which is maybe related to my organization. Check inventory for Mule test 0. This is a specific question, right? Because I want the AI to now make use of those tools, and I provided a inventory API to the agent to do the call out, make sure to extract the product information, and reply me with the answer of the API call. And let me show you that this is the real call, real-time data which it got. I will log in now to my SAP environment. I will go to the NMMBE, is a transaction where I can check inventory. I can enter here Mule test 0, and it will show me actually the same availability which it replied with. Currently SAP is slow, right? So here you can see this is the availability which it replied with the restricted and unrestricted use. That's actually provided here. I can show and formulate a different question. So show product availability for 400, 110. So this is the product or material name. And even, it fails to execute a API call, it will tell you. That's something which is super new, because you have these APIs, and of course these APIs are built in a composable manner. And now you can see it came up even with this. So these two different queries looks a little bit different, right? So a user can ask this, another user can ask this, but it is still able to identify the right API in the configuration file, which is described in detail, and do the job for me. And that's something which is super cool, because I can do a very similar thing. And this time I would like to show additional details for order 150. And I know that in my SAP environment, which is the S4 HANA now, let me reopen it. So cookie expired, but that's okay. So in my S4 HANA environment, I can go to VA03. And from here, I can ask 150. It shouldn't be there. It is there actually. Okay, yeah, but this order is not processed. So it's there, but it's deleted in the system. So the API shouldn't get any information for this one, because it has been marked deleted, so it's not available. And I will now call out this order, and it shouldn't give me any information. It should say, look, I failed getting the information. And it will describe you also in detail what it got. And I was super surprised that it was able to get me that detailed information where it failed. So you can see here, it got the issue with the 500. So the payload which was received was not correct, and it didn't succeed with my request. And then I went into SAP and checked, and this order didn't exist. But now I can say, show me an order which exists, or let's say it's 140. And meanwhile, while it is getting the request, let me go to SAP. This is a public cloud. And this time, you see all the data is there. We have here the material, we have the quantity, we have here the product, we have the delivery date, the reference, and some other information. And if I go here, you can see this is actually bringing me the information by autonomously selecting the right APIs from the configuration file, executing it based on the way we are providing the tools autonomously, and providing me with the information. So that's already super cool, because now you can build super interactive agent which are able to cover your surroundings, your company surroundings, but also your customer surroundings, with all the knowledge which you have been building using Anypoint platform, which has been published in Exchange. And currently, this capability is provided as a configuration file. But our long-term vision is to connect the agent directly with Exchange, and through intelligent filtering to find the right information, because you have documented everything. You don't need to document again in MuleChain. So if we can connect this to Exchange, it will be even more powerful than it is already now. I can do some other additional stuff which will also like be mind blowing. And I can say, I would like to now order a laptop for Ashish Pardi, and enter it here. Again, it will not answer using its general knowledge, because it doesn't have the knowledge of ordering laptop for Ashish. It will look into the configuration file. It will find potentially an API which it will execute. And now it will provide me with the order number, which is this one. So now, Ashish, it has ordered a laptop for you. But there's something special about this order number. This order number is something I can follow up later on and check where the order is processed. But while we are talking, you can see it is ordering the laptop right now. It has processed this order. It is going to that online web page, selecting the laptop. So it's extracting this information from my prompt or from my question. And it should, if everything goes fine, it will extract Ashish Padri from my question and enter it here in the card holder name. Of course, this is fake data, the rest, but it's a good way to demonstrate how far you can go. What are the limits? And here you can really go beyond the limits using these AI agents, and everything will be running in MuleSoft. So you have the stability and governance of monitoring, of security, of every sweetness capability MuleSoft is providing along these autonomous agents. And this is a simple UI, right? So I asked ChatGPT to build it. I fine-tuned it later on. But behind the scene, the thing which is deployed in Runtime Manager, that's the powerful thing, because it allowed me to build something really uh, interesting for my usage or for demo purposes. On later on, you can build the same things for your customers, because the APIs you want to use are already created. And here I want to pause for a minute to see if there are questions.
I don't see new questions. They're good.
Okay. So we have a very similar capability, because different connectors, different focus. So here we have the Einstein AI agent, which is basically doing the same. But one thing is special about this Einstein AI agent. It is using the Salesforce trust layer. And you can see the Salesforce trust layer has um, different benefits and values. One of those is that we have a contractual agreement with the LLM providers like OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, to not store the data from the request which is coming through that trust layer. So there's no retention of data. So the LLM is not going to steal data. That's clear through contract. Additionally, through that trust layer, we are masking the data which is sent to the LLM and unmasking it when we are receiving it. And also, the response we are receiving is categorized in different sections. Yeah. So I use this demo to just highlight how all these things work. It is the same capabilities we have seen here with the MuleChain AI agent, but it goes through the Salesforce trust layer. And let me show you what is the capital of Germany. It's a simple question, but these categories are responding with a scoring, and whenever the scoring is not zero, so it will be like 0.00001, I will change the color just to highlight. Even it's not really a toxicity which is detected, or hallucination which is detected, still you will see that these things categories are moving through the interaction. So that's my first question. What is the capital of Germany? It will say Berlin, and you see what happens. These categories switch. I'm currently just displaying it, and behind the scene it will be like 0.0001. Not really something major, but you will get an understanding how the whole thing is working. I can do basically the same thing, like order a laptop for Amir Khan. It will trigger basically the same thing in the background, but you will see that these things, these categories, they will change colors, because we are able to receive the category scoring of the LLM. If the answer is maybe hateful, if the answer is having any sexual content, if the answer is aggressive, physical, or profane, violent, or any kind of things, you can categorize it, and based on this, you can hand over the answer to the end user, or do not hand over it based on the scoring results. And it was just a call behind the scenes, but you see already what is possible. And same I can do with the same in check inventory for mule test 0. Will basically do the same, but again, it goes through the security layer, mask my data, unmask it when it retrieve it, but also categorize on the content quality if there is toxic answer through the LLM, so we can secure the end user of receiving this information and protect it from there as well. So that's basically when you use the same for the Einstein AI agent. So that was the second MuleChain AI agent demo.
Yeah,
Questions?
we have two questions. Sorry to cut you, Amir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So where does the list of APIs MuleChain agent gets to call from?
So the agent APIs, and when we look into the configuration, it is provided, you can see here in the tools config, we call it, right? And you can provide any kind of tool config here. It's a simple JSON file. It can be also a text file. It can be basically any readable file Also, the format can be different, but we have chosen a format called like this. And this format is including 3 APIs, right? So you can see there are 3 items in the array. First item is this one. And this item is about checking inventory. So I'm providing the action because in the tooling, in the classes, we are providing 2 tools. One is to execute post request, and the other one is to execute get request. When the tool is used, that's up to the LLM and the agent. It's the tool which is available for the AI agent. And now we are providing here dynamic use of this tooling in where we are providing the URL. You can see this is a plain URL. You have here the inventory, the name of this tool, the first tool. You describe what is the method. You describe basically the header. You have an example payload. So far, you are just describing what are the categories, what are the really technical fields to use that API. And now you are coming up with queries, and that's important because this is the context the LLM is going to use whenever you ask a question. So when there is a question called, I want to check product availability, it will refer back here. Or I want to check material on stock. You see, it will check here because stock is there and it can bring into context material is the number it's provided, it is inventory. And then we are describing after the queries exactly how the LLM is going to use it, right? So please use material number and not material number because sometimes I saw that the grounding was not correct. It used material number because the user query was material number, but I wanted him to use material NO because that's the technical representation of the field in the payload. And also then we are providing here some intent, the user intent. So this action applies whenever user intent is stock overview, product availability, inventory, available stock. And that's already enough. You have given him a lot of variety of context and intent to make use of this tool and use the header to perform this request, right? So that's number one. The second is very similar. This time it's a get request. So you say it's a method guest, show accounts, and you can say here additional things. But again, same thing. You describe it with the queries as well as the intent. And this information is really an instruction to your LLM. So imagine a colleague of mine to ask me to get a coffee, right? I know exactly where the coffee is. I will go to the office kitchen, go to the coffee machine, grab a cup, get a coffee out and bring it to him. In the same manner, we have to provide the instruction to the LLM because these are just simple tools. If he understands in a natural language when to use these tools, what are the specific things to apply here? Because you can see here, I'm also telling use headers, use headers. And sometimes if you don't have headers, you don't have to put this information in because it will try to use headers and it will say there is no header. So these kind of things you can really fine tune the LLM to use. And we can go like for this one. And it's interesting to see how the LLM responds here. So if I say show all accounts, right? So this is a super simple and it will give me the data because you see here I have show all accounts, or it's not show all accounts from CRM. It will use a mocking service which is available. So if you want to use this tool, it's super easy. Just copy and paste it into your configuration file and use it because this configuration is available, this mocking service. And if we go back, still not because there's a large data set which is there. So this data is now composed and you will see how the LLM is going to reply here. Okay, so in this case, it didn't reply. So let me, sometimes, there is any issue. So let's say show all or get all leads. Get all leads, we use another API. So maybe that was an API which is not in my configuration. Sorry, that could be an issue. But now I'm asking get all leads. And what I want to show you here is that even the API is responding in a way through prompting, through question, you can get additional informations um, answered by the LLM. So this is a simple get all leads question, which it should answer by giving me all the different leads, hopefully. Let's wait a couple of seconds. So there might be an issue. No idea why it is taking that long. So let's give it 10 more seconds. But I think it will fail as well because it takes too long. Let me form the same question on the other side with Einstein. So maybe Einstein is a little bit faster. So get all leads are not returned yet. It takes too long. I think it won't return the right data. So Einstein should have access to all accounts from CRM. And here you can see there are all accounts, right? So it responded me with all accounts. And now it says here at the bottom, and so on and so forth, right? So there are more accounts, but it didn't display because it is too much data. And now what you can do is you can say, I would like to get all accounts and filter by type, or let's say by company, innovate X. So you can see here I have innovate X, but these should not be included. And below I don't have any. Here I have also an innovate X, and there might be additional ones as well. So let me ask this one, and this is now important because I didn't have this filtering in my. Okay, so currently it didn't work. So I have to check what is the issue. But normally you will see when you provide the right instructions, it will get you the data, but it is also able to filter things. And maybe I need to put it here in this one. Maybe Einstein is not configured. I have different configuration. That's the confusion here a little bit. Get leads didn't come back. So something is wrong with my agent, which is deployed. And we can easily see it here as well, right? So these agents are really available in the Anypoint platform. So you can refresh the data and you can see how the performance looks like, how the JVM thread count is, how the average response time is. So the whole thing you can measure here. And that's also something which is unique for your agents you are building. We have the complete platform to manage your agents through monitoring, through sharing the content, through prototyping, through building it, as well as visualizer we should also have. So you can see here, this is a simple visualizer for the two different agents which are deployed. They are using APIs, unfortunately, which are in other orgs. I use here a simple trial. So imagine you have everything in one org. You will see exactly which agent is calling out which API in detail. That's here not the case because I'm calling out to mocking services and some APIs in other orgs. And you have the possibility to the whole monitoring as well. Not only on the runtime manager capabilities, but also in the Anypoint monitoring. So all these advantages which the platform already has today comes into the play when you are using MuleChain connectors to build your agents. And now you can see here, yeah, it tried, but there is an issue with my agent. It's not able to communicate. So I think maybe some data or some services are not available. But anyway, that's the demos which I wanted to show you, which different varieties and different things we are using here for MuleChain. So whenever you have the time and you think this is something which is interesting, this is something which is different and will help you in your projects, please use this connector, provide us feedback. And the best way to provide feedback is directly here on the connector when you find the issue. Go to the right connector. If it's a MuleChain AI connector or an Einstein AI connector, go to the issues, create a new issue, and Michael and myself, we are super committed. We are going to answer it. And when you have enough experience, please join the team. So we want to make this a success, and we will need the help of the community. And also make sure to use everything what is available. And so that was in terms of the demo what we were planning to show. There are additional things which are also happening, but before I go to the next topic, any questions in the chat, or you can also come out of mic.
Yeah. Anybody wants to share?
Yeah, I have one point, Amit. So just to recap my understanding better. So if we want to enhance the way that we are expecting the results or something, we need to keep on track on the behavior and make sure we pass the right prompts so that we get the relevant right data.
Yes.
So we need to make sure our config files also up to date with what we are expecting the behavior is. So
Yes. So that's the current implementation. I also mentioned that our vision is to connect the agent to Exchange based on filtering. So you don't need to do this heavy lifting anymore. We will connect the agent to Exchange. Exchange will be filtered based on keywords, and all those available APIs which are applying to that filters, they are already described in Exchange, right? So it will use these APIs and then try to apply them as tools within the
right,
agent instead of building that configuration file. But you're absolutely right. Today, you have to build the configuration file and provide the details and instructions.
got it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
More questions, guys? Okay, I think Amit, we are good.
All
First of
right.
all, big thanks, Amit. I mean, this excellent demo, man. I'm going to definitely, I'm going to use both of these agents and going to provide the feedback. And same thing I'm expecting from the crowd also.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and yeah, you have anything to add or?
Yes, one more thing which I wanted to add is kind of, we let me share this link.
Yeah.
So this is basically, until September, we have opened up a registration, a competition for the community for MuleChain AI as well as Einstein AI connector. Once it's released on Monday, you can submit a use case you want to build with MuleChain. So the top three are going to win Amazon vouchers, but all the submissions will be placed in our YouTube channel. It should be a compelling use case. So you say you build insurance use case or a fins use case or a HLS use case using MuleChain. It should be compelling. There should be a business value for you, for your organization, kind of a storytelling, clearness on demo and effectiveness. And then you have all the resources. You should not exceed more than 10 minutes when you present your use case. Record it, show the demo, explain what you did, and your overall vision, and then register your use case here. It's not much, so you can enter your name, email address, organization, and name of use case, and then feel free to submit it on LinkedIn in the group we have. Submit it directly to me or to any one of the community leaders. Like you can submit also to Ashish, and Ashish will then connect with us to evaluate your use case. And once it's selected, you will definitely get rewarded for it. So that's what I wanted to share as a last thing. Please help us make this really successful. It's something very exciting, new to MuleSoft developers, and I promise, it's a lot of promising for me personally to see this in action and see how it can further evolve into something really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, definitely we are going to use, but we can see a lot of hard work is going behind the scene, right? So that we can see throughout our demo. A lot of things were added, a lot of research is done, and then only this, the excellent product like Mule Chain connector is coming off that, out of that hard work. So we are requesting everyone to please go ahead. It's open source. You don't need to pay anything. As he mentioned, there are something which like a production. It's not production ready, but there also you can go ahead, deploy it, test it, and give us the feedback. Okay. As I mentioned, go ahead and implement your use case. You can submit to me. You can directly submit to Amir. He's very much famous on LinkedIn. So you can anytime reach out to him. Okay. And whenever you have any questions, as he mentioned, he's committed to answer those. And even midnight, if I answer something, ask him, right? Definitely, I'll see answer in my chat box in the morning. Okay, so that's how he's committed. Okay. Anything? How can I reach you, Amir, if I have to? Yeah. So LinkedIn request is another thing. Anything you want to share, Amir? The other channels.
Um, So currently, I think LinkedIn is the best thing, but also in LinkedIn, there is our channel for a MuleChain project. So if you want to share something which maybe relates to the community, you can put it in the MuleSoft MuleChain project group. Let me enter the URL here. Otherwise, you can also connect with me directly on LinkedIn. Let me share my profile as well. So this is my profile, and then we get, we will help you even in building the use case. If you want to do a brainstorming session, please connect with Ashish or myself. We can help you shape the use case, which is compelling, and yeah, help you get started there. Right.
Yeah, I think that's a great man. Okay. First of all, big thanks, Amir, and thanks for joining and bringing this much detail, demos, and information to the community. And other thing, thanks everyone for joining and still there with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashish.
Yeah,
Really,
Gary. Yeah, you have a
thank.
mic, man. Everyone have
Yeah,
mic. Please go
sure,
ahead
sure,
and add the words. Okay, and
sure.
yeah, do the honors, please.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ashish, and thank you so much, Amir, for this wonderful demo. So I have one question. Like, there was implementation of the RAG. I think you showed the demo where you also spoke about